Welcome to the Sports Drink Club. I am one half member. I am Patrick Meltzer. Got my co-host Keita Duke with me. We are here on a Tuesday, and there's a lot to talk about. What's going on, baby?
Not much, man. Late night. Got a cup of coffee here. I was about to fall asleep earlier, so just trying to, stay awake through this podcast episode.
I'm cleansing my body right now. I've already had my cup of coffee for the day. I'm drinking water right now, but there's a good chance that I may have to go to the bathroom during this segment. And I hope that I don't have to. I will just hold it in.
Please do.
But we are going to get through this today. Big day for sports, obviously, to tell you the truth. March Madness getting cranked up. We had the first four starting today, the play-in games. We got a couple more play-in games tomorrow. We've been talking about March Madness, everybody getting their brackets out, trying to get the perfect bracket, who's going to survive, who's going to make it to the Final Four, who's our big Sweet 16 picks. Johnny Manziel, my boy Money Manziel, is back playing football again. I thought that he was done after Canada, but apparently he is not, as he has signed with a team in the AAF. Or is it the AFF? Is it the AAF? It sounds like a wrestling better.
Yeah, it's AAF. Yeah, double AF.
Double AF. He's back in the double AF. And
the Memphis Express.
My boy Mike Trout making it rain on everybody. Let me borrow $1 real quick, boy.
Money bags, Trout.
If I'm playing with Mike Trout today, bro, I am just as like, hey, bro, like, can I just get a dinner? Can I get, hey, boy, just buy me 100. I know you got 100 on you, like
if I was the bat boy, I'd just be like, can I get like an eighth of your check, dog? Like, come on.
Like, even if I'm playing with him every day, I'd be trying to see. I don't know what kind of person Mike Trout is. He may be super chill, reserved type cat, but every day
I heard he is.
I'd be like, hey, bro, all right, so hey, let's do this hitting contest right quick. Let's see the first person who can hit this penny.
But the thing is, he probably still beat you.
That's what I'm trying to get.
He would probably still be like you would just be feeding into his pockets even more because you would end up owing him money because you keep losing in these hitting challenges.
Hey, bro, we get this IOU for it can be anything. We can be flip cup. It doesn't matter.
You can't beat a 5-2 baseball player. Like it's like, all right, let's make these throws a home. Whoever does the most, he's gonna beat you. Who's gonna have the fastest stolen base time? He gonna beat you. Like, you can't win.
Maybe I need to rethink it and not do things that are so physical. Maybe I need to be like, hey, Mike, the first one to drink this Gatorade the fastest gets $20.
before Mike Trout's like done. God
before he even opens up his shit, I'm like, yeah, it's $20. Like straight up, dude. I need some money, Mike. But we'll be talking about Mike Trout and how my man has made history, not only on the baseball field, but on with his checkbook. And of course, we got our big picks, it being March Madness. There is a lot of things related to March Madness where my picks are lying, more so on the future side of things. And we will get to that. But first thing is first, man. Let's go and get it cranked up, man. The 2019 NCAA championship is here.
Yep.
All those teams that were crying on Selection Sunday are playing in the NIT or the CIB. Or I saw that there was another. There's like three tournaments
or the tournament no one cares about.
It's basically three tournaments that no one gives a crap about. I mean, I guess we kind of care about the NIT.
That's the only one that anyone even remotely knows about. Remotely.
Bro, there are two other invitational tournaments that people get invited to, and it's like, if I'm that team that is the 60, it would be. If there's 65 teams, if I'm like the 67th best team in the nation.
Oh, I'm pissed.
And I don't even get invited to the NIT, or I want to keep playing on TV. Okay. So the NIT is your best bet. The other tournaments, I don't even know if they're channels that
is there anyone that carries them? Like, except for like the local newspaper journalists who might be there covering it.
I mean, maybe like like something deep. Like if you got the sports package, like you may get it. Like
It'd have to be like Fox Sports, Southwest, Mississippi, Tuscaloosa.
CBS Sports Network affiliate of the Nation of Islam. I don't know, like something crazy where like
it's only that like that small town that's watching that. Like, yeah,
yeah, bro. Like, yay, we won the NIT. We're the 67th best team in the nation. Like, I know it's a big deal. They play in Madison Square Garden. Like, it's cool and all, but sorry, man. I would be pissed off if I'm playing in the NIT. Like, I get it.
I'm trying to get into this, NCAA. That's the goal.
That's what you play for.
Even if you get knocked out in the first round, like, who cares?
Exactly. Like, that's what you play for. That's what you played for all season, especially if you these mid-major, these small schools where only one team gets to go. So that's a big deal, you know what I mean?
And it's like one of those things where it's like, you just get in because anything clearly can happen. Like, you stand a chance, like, no matter what in this college tournament. So just get in and take it from there. But getting in is most important. So let me get in, and then
most important.
Then we're just playing with house money.
Absolutely. And we saw what happened last year, where 16th seed UMBC. I think you may need to look up what UMBC actually is. I think it's the University of Maryland. I don't know. The University of Maryland, Boston College. I don't know. University of Maryland, Boston College. I don't know what the UMBC. The UMBC Retrievers, as he looks for what the acronyms for UMBC.
The University of Maryland, Baltimore County.
The University of Maryland, Baltimore County defeated for the first time in NCAA history, a 16th seed beat a first seed. And that was when UMBC last year beat Virginia, where a lot of people had Virginia as their clear cut.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So this is going to be fun whenever we get to our brackets, because there's
some things going on here. So I know that we want to talk about who's going to be in the Final Four, and we're going to get to that. But first thing is first, I just want to ask you, Duke, how did you fill out your bracket? You don't have to have knowledge of, this is when guesswork, honestly, it doesn't matter how you guess. Okay.
I don't know anything about college basketball, and yet I filled one out. I'm just guessing. These are all pure guesses.
And all these bracketologists out there who think that they have a degree in this stuff, dude, you don't have any idea what's going to happen. Just like how last year, no one predicted that a 16th seed was going to beat a 1 seed. The only people who did that is probably either you went there
or you're just super fans of that school and you're just like, we're gonna win, like that blind loyalty.
Exactly. There was a first time for a lot last year.
I was about to say, last year felt like a bloodbath.
It really was.
Last year, I actually forgot to fill one out last year, but just seeing like all the upsets that were happening, I was like, did anyone win anything with their bracket? Because it just felt like there was upsets left, right, center. It was everywhere you looked. There was an upset happening. I was like, what is happening? Like last year felt like crazy. It was like really insane.
There was a real Cinderella story last year with Chicago, Loyola Chicago. And they had the one lady that was kind of their
oh yeah, that's right.
Mother something. I can't remember her name, but
that's right. That was a nice story.
That was a great story. Them getting all the way to a Final Four, 11 seed, Loyola Chicago, great, just a great community, like where that university is and how they all came together for that one moment. And everybody was rooting for those guys, and they played tough. They could have made it to the finals last year. But for them to get to the Final Four last year, that was not only great for college basketball, great for their conference, and shedding some light that anybody can get in this tournament and get hot. And that's what it's really all about with any tournament. Okay. Yeah. Who's going to get hot at the right time, and who's going to, and who's going to play the best basketball for these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games all the way to the championship.
Yeah.
Okay. And kind of some fun facts here about the 16 seed. We just mentioned about UMBC. Keenan, that was the first time in history of when the field has expanded to 64 teams.
That a 16 seed beat a number one.
History that a 16 seed beat a 1 seed. Now,
I don't think that's happening this year, especially with the 16th seed playing North Carolina. If that happened, that'd probably be the biggest upset of all time.
Heck no.
Or the 16th seed being like the 16th seed has to play North Carolina and Duke like that. If either one of those came true, that would be everyone's bracket would be automatically done though.
Everybody's bracket would be automatically done, but I don't think that that's going to happen this year. I do think that there's going to be a lot of upsets, in particular seedings. Okay, a lot of 5-12 matchups have been upsets, and I'm alluding to something that we're going to hear at the end of the show here, with 5 and 12 seeds having upset. That there just seems to be a history of a lot of 5-12 upsets. So I do have a few of those in my bracket this year. I've got the Liberty Flames beating Mississippi State in the East bracket, 12/5. I think there's a good chance that could happen. I got a few 11 seed upsets this year, but what upsets do you? Before I even ask that, what is your method? What is your method with filling out this bracket?
So my bracket's kind of straightforward for the most part. Like I didn't go out on too many limbs. I took a couple chances. Like I literally went for the most part the seed that was ranked higher. I went with them 9 times out of 10. There's only a couple times where I would pick a lower seed team, and it was just like for whatever reason, like I was like, okay, for whatever reason, I feel like they might beat them. Like I have, and one thing that I did notice that I kept doing was that if it was an 8 and 9, I tended to pick the 9 over the 8. So that was something that I did multiple times because I picked Baylor over Syracuse. I did this for someone. I picked Utah State for that one. I picked Oklahoma over Mississippi. So I did it a couple times where I picked the 9 seed over the 8.
I think I've got Oklahoma over Mississippi too.
Yeah, and so I did that, and then I have an upset where I got Minnesota over Louisville, 10/7. So nothing too crazy. The biggest, my Cinderella team is UC Irvine.
Hey, got the Anteaters up in here, man. Hey, they've got a couple of ball players over there. That's big time, baby.
Yeah, I have them beating Kansas State. I got them beating Wisconsin. I actually got them going to the Final Four.
Who?
UC Irvine.
Hey, anything can happen. And that's the best part about the tournament is that no one's really wrong. Okay. If you feel a certain type of way about a team and you feel like they're a good Cinderella story, then go for it. Okay. I don't think that it's a situation where, all one seeds may get in there. But then last year, I believe that there was.
It kind of happened. Yeah.
It kind of happens.
Except for none. Yeah, except for that, the team we were just talking about. But the reason why I kind of laughed earlier with you bringing up Virginia getting beat by the 16th seed last year is because I have UC Irvine meeting up with Virginia in round of 16, Sweet 16, and they beat Virginia.
Hey, UC Irvine, the Anteaters, they are the Big West champions. I actually watched that game a couple nights ago. It was an epic game. It happened over here at the Anaheim Honda Center when they faced off last year's Big West champion, Cal State Fullerton. Tough game. But UC Irvine actually does look like a very dangerous squad going into here. They're hot right now. They've only got 3 losses on the season, 3 or 4 losses on the season.
Oh, wow. That's really
very solid team, fundamentally sound. They've got a few seniors on that team that are grad transfers from other big universities who have experience, maybe didn't play for those big universities as many minutes as they're getting right now at UCI, but having that experience on, playing against good competition on a night-to-night basis definitely helps them in their backcourt, because that's where a couple of those transfers are, those grad transfers. And so that's going to go a long way as far as experience goes. Those guys are not going to be too big for the moment. And I believe that UCI is going to end up beating Kansas State, but I've only got them going as far to the round of 62, beating Oregon. And with Oregon, I have them getting back and wiggling their way back into the Final Four somehow. I mean,
you got Oregon?
So, dude, last year, no one thought that this team was going to have an opportunity to get into the Final Four, and somehow Oregon snuck into the Final Four. I don't have them in there this year, but I have them at least going into the Sweet 16. Now, my Final Four,
Final Four.
I've got Duke. I got to ride with my boys, Texas Tech. That's my squad, man.
I was watching ESPN the other day, and they had a Final Four, and someone else had picked Texas Tech to squeak in there as well.
Trying to tell you, man, that's a good squad. And with them being in the West region, their number one seed is Gonzaga. Now, what a lot of people, anybody who's been paying attention to the NCAA tournament or whatever it may be, or just anything that's leading up into the NCAA tournament, Gonzaga was the number one consensus on the poll for ranked teams pretty much all year, if not sharing time with Tennessee or Duke or whatever. But they did share a lot of time at the AP number one spot. Thing is, Gonzaga did not win their conference. They actually got beat by St. Mary's, who I believe St. Mary's, I don't know what bracket they're in. I don't know what region they're in. You may want to check that for me, but they got beat by St. Mary's they're
in the South.
Okay, just on a crazy.
They're number 11
night.
They're number 11. They play Villanova. Number 6.
And they're going to get smoked up. They played their best game. They played their best game against Gonzaga, and that's what I'm saying is that I feel like Gonzaga can be beat. I feel like Gonzaga can get beat in the second round, because I got Syracuse playing them in the second round, but I do have the Zags advancing. Better believe anybody who's coming out that 8-9 facing Gonzaga can beat them. Baylor's definitely can beat them, and Q's can definitely beat them. But what I want to talk about is the process of how I even got to my Final Four.
Yeah, how'd you do it?
I want to share my how I put it all together. And I did not range everything off of my knowledge. I wanted to try with something a little bit different. 8 and 9 seeds. I literally picked off. This is my favorite mascot. I like the mascot. I'm going to go with them. Half of these teams, I don't have prior knowledge of them watching. Half of these analysts, let me also put this out there, Keenan. These analysts sit there and act like that they know all this stuff about, I know about college basketball. You know about the teams that you watch on TV all the time.
Yeah.
You trying to tell me
ain't nobody watching Murray State?
The only reason why people watched Murray State is because they've got a number one draft pick that's coming out this year in the NBA. But I don't think anybody's sitting there trying to tune in to Colgate, number 15, Colgate. The only Colgate they know about is, when
they brushing their teeth.
Nobody woke up to go watch the Bradley Braves, who's playing against Michigan State.
Did anybody go to Abilene and watch them?
First off,
I'm surprised they even in. I saw that. I was like, wow.
When we were in school, Abilene Christian wasn't even a D1 school. So who knows what's going to happen with them? And the thing is, with Abilene Christian, I had a buddy of mine text me today, and he was on Odd Sharks. Obviously, he likes to wager, and he said that off of Odd Sharks that Abilene Christian is the favorite.
Really?
Going to win.
What?
Dude,
there's no way. There's no way.
It's just not happening. But
Kentucky, good luck.
Yeah, I don't know about that. We'll be keeping our eye on that. But I picked my 8-9 seeds based off of mascots.
Okay.
My
so out of the 8-9 seeds, Who are out of the 4, 8, 9 seeds? Who do you have?
So I got 9 for Oklahoma, and it's not because of basketball. It's because I like Kyler Murray, and I thought that they would win.
Okay. All righty.
I picked Utah State because I
too.
like their color scheme. They're like blue and silver, and they're called the Aggies. So anybody that's an Aggie, I was like, okay, that's cool. 8, 9 seed for Syracuse.
You picked Syracuse, right?
I picked Syracuse because I like orange.
All right.
And in the 8, 9 for VCU and UCF, I picked it because I like black and gold color scheme. Now,
so you picked VCU?
Yeah, no, I picked UCF.
So did I.
Gold color scheme, but VCU is black and yellow.
Oh,
different.
It is different. It's close.
So my 6 and 11 seed picks, I picked base. Oh my God, you're gonna laugh at this. So the 6 and 11 seeds, I picked based off of the mascots because I like mascots, and I picked Belmont to beat Maryland, and Belmont actually had a play-in game against the Temple Owls.
Yeah,
I like Belmont because they're the Bears, and I like mammals.
Why didn't you pick Baylor then?
Because I was picking 8 9s off of colors.
Okay.
Because I was picking 8 9s off of colors. So I was picking the 6 11s off of mascots.
Interesting.
So, 6 11 in the West region is Buffalo, and the winner of Arizona State and St. John's. Well, I like St. John's, the Red Storm. Like I like a Red Storm and a Sun Devil over a Buffalo, the Buffalo Bulls. So that's how I came to a conclusion with them.
Okay.
6-11. I like a Cyclone over a Buckeye in the Midwest
Iowa
region.
State.
Iowa State versus Ohio State, and then the 6-11 in the South. Dude,
Villanova.
You know I had to go with Villanova Wildcats because I was a former Wildcat. So this is how I came to the conclusion.
That's pretty cool. I actually kind of like that. That's kind of a cool, fun way to kind of pick winners of games, especially for like seeds of that manner. You know what I mean? Like, why not? Like, let's do something different with it.
Dude, nobody knows. There have been children who literally pick teams off of colors, off of the name.
I mean, that's how I do like horse racing.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. You like a team because that's the way that they look, and that's what it is. Now, according to some reports out there, your boy Warren Buffett is paying $1 million to a perfect bracket.
He does it every year.
Every year. Is anyone ever?
No one's ever. No, that's impossible.
Come on.
It's impossible.
If people hit the lotto all the time, you think it's in our lifetime that anyone's going to get a perfect bracket?
No, I honestly don't. That's why Warren Buffett feels so comfortable doing that. You think someone like Warren Buffett's just going to willy-nilly throw his money away like that?
No,
he knows that's like impossible. He puts it out there so everyone can talk about him every single year, and everyone talking about Warren Buffett. And it's like
$1 million in our lifetime. No one's gonna get no one thought that a 16 seed would be the 1 seed, but you don't think a perfect bracket's gonna happen in our lifetime?
But the thing is, like, those instances are solely based upon like those people playing a direct hand in that result. Everyone's just guessing. There's no shot that anyone can guess every single one of these picks. It's impossible. It is impossible. I'm sorry. Like, no one can see these tiny little upsets that all you have to do is miss one game and it's over with for you. Come on.
Okay.
Maybe if he gave somebody like a gimme and you could get one, if you could get one game wrong, you get one mulligan. Yeah. You get one mulligan and that's it. You know, it's kind of like, I don't know if you know about the beat the streak that MLB does every single year. Yeah, they give you one mulligan, and after that, it's done. Like, you can't use a mulligan again. But like, you know, if you got one mulligan to possibly get every single other pick right, I could see that more likely, obviously, than someone just from the get-go. Perfect
Well,
bracket.
we're definitely going to get together in the next 2 days, and we're going to compare and contrast brackets as the first day will be going down on Thursday. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to see how your bracket turned up, because one loss is going to bust all your stuff. Like, the whole bracket just going to be shut down. Like, all it takes is one. Okay. Yep. So we're going to see how long we survive. All of our listeners out there, we're definitely going to be keeping you guys updated with what's going on. But I want to talk about my dark horse, okay, which I alluded to a little bit earlier. Now, call me a homer, okay, but I believe the dark horse of this tournament is going to be Texas Tech. Last year, same situation, 3 seed. Got an opportunity to get back into the Sweet 16, but I think that they're going to go even further than the Elite 8, which they got to last year. They lost to Villanova going to the Final Four, but just the route that they've got right now, their toughest games, if everything goes right with my bracket, they'll be playing Michigan in the second round. They'll be playing Michigan in the Sweet 16. Yeah. Okay. They're going to play the winner of Buffalo, Arizona State, or St. John's in that second round. I think we got them.
Yeah.
Then, however it breaks, go ahead.
I was going to say, I have them falling to Michigan. I was stuck on that for a long time because I wanted to pick Texas Tech, but I was like, I can't.
So you have Texas Tech at least making it back to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, but I couldn't bring myself to pick them over Michigan.
I know Michigan is like one of those teams where they're
just college basketball royalty.
Exactly. It doesn't really matter like who's on the team.
Yeah, it's just the fact that it's Michigan.
Exactly. They've made it to Final Fours as a seed lower than the second. So, like I said, it depends on who's going to get hot. I believe Tech is going to make it to the Final Four. Okay. And that's my dark horse for your bracket. Who's your dark horse team that you've got going the furthest?
UC Irvine.
UC Irvine.
Yep.
Anteaters, y'all.
Yeah, that's my dark horse. And I feel like it's even a bigger dark horse just because they're such a lower ranked seed. Absolutely. You know, like Texas Tech is at least number 3. Like, that's kind of respectable. I don't think too many people are going to be taking them lightly. Not to say that I don't think anyone's going to be taking UC Irvine lightly because of that record that you stated earlier. Like, that's a pretty damn good record. And I think everyone's kind of maybe on the lookout for them a little bit, but still, you know, the fact that I have them beating Virginia and then actually have them over Purdue going into the Final Four, like that's Cinderella. That's dark horse.
That's some real dark horse type stuff right there. But I'm gonna tell you something right now, Keenan. Don't be crying when your bracket is busted on the first day.
I'm not. I mean, like I said, I don't know nothing about college basketball.
What's the hamstrings?
Actually, more like busted Nike shoes.
And you know that's what everybody's gonna be talking about is Zion Williamson. What is Zion gonna do? We know that Duke is a great team. They've been, playing well all season. Obviously, their record indicates that they're gonna play better with Zion, but in comparison without Zion, they're basketball royalty. Okay, just like how you mentioned with Michigan. But UCI, let's just put a small, okay. If UCI makes it to the Sweet 16,
that's like historically a baseball team, man.
I know. If UCI makes it, what you want to put on it, man? Couple gallons of sweet tea?
Hell yes, I haven't had sweet tea in forever.
I'll put 2 gallons of sweet tea that they're not gonna make the Sweet 16.
That they don't make the Sweet 16? You don't think they're gonna make the Sweet 16?
Nah, man. I'll put 2 gallons of sweet tea.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
I'll put 2 gallons of sweet tea. Right, I'm not gonna sit there and say that they're gonna go to the Final Four or anything.
Okay.
Sweet tea is a little bit more reasonable.
Yeah. Final Four would have been a stretch even for me, but Sweet 16, I'll take that bet.
All right, I'm gonna throw on top a pack of peanut butter M&Ms. I'm gonna go and put that on top right now. 2 gallon of sweet tea.
Because you like that, right? You like peanut butter M&Ms?
I think peanut butter M&Ms, and especially if you put them in the freezer, bro, they go hard, bro.
All right. Well, if you win, you can get peanut butter M&Ms. If I win, I don't know. I want like regular M&Ms. I don't like peanut butter M&Ms.
What?
Or the crunchy ones. No, give me them Skittles. Give me the purple bag Skittles.
I was about to say, like, you just go get some plain M&Ms.
Nah, I don't want plain M&Ms. I want purple bag Skittles. Me of
one time where I was like, so, like, I don't remember exactly where we were, but you had asked, like, you got something to drink here? Nah, man, all we got is water. They got no flavor. Bro,
I used to
just do the regular M&Ms.
I used to boycott water like crazy, and I have no idea why.
Like, just for no reason. Like,
for no reason.
Water.
I was so stupid. I don't know why I used to boycott water. Like, I just wanted something. I always wanted like juice or Gatorade or something.
Flavor. Like, water got enough flavors. Got no flavor, bro. So you just go sit there thirsty? You know?
Anyway, so okay.
Opportunity in time to get. There's all types of M&Ms out there. Yeah, just give me the plain M&Ms.
No, I don't want plain M&Ms. I was struggling to think of something. I want purple bag M&Ms.
All right, purple. All right, you heard it, everybody. We got a bag of purple M&Ms, 2 gallons of sweet tea for Keenan Duke. If UC Irvine can get to the Sweet 16, let's keep our eye on that. Okay. Another thing is, who's your Final Four? Okay, obviously we got UC Irvine. Who else you
got? It's pretty standard after that. Got UC Irvine against North Carolina, and I got Duke against Michigan.
Duke against Michigan. And who you got winning it all, man?
I got Duke and North Carolina in the final, and I got Duke winning it all.
Well, it looks like that's where we are the same, because I do have Duke, Texas Tech, UNC, and Tennessee coming out of the South region, with Duke and UNC having a 4th matchup.
Yeah, that's going to be huge. That's going to be huge.
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
With Duke winning it all, hoisting up that NCAA championship in Minnesota. We're definitely going to be keeping an eye on this. To be honest with you, dude, the first 2 days is honestly the most entertaining. Like,
because there's so many games going on.
Are you going to be having these games on while you're at work?
Oh, yeah. I always have, like, something on. Like, I have 2 screens set up here, so I always have, like, one that's my computer, and I'm doing all my work on there, and then I always have, like, something sports-related playing on the other one, like MLB channel or, like, the NFL channel or ESPN, or if there's, like, some games going on. Like, I watch the soccer games and stuff like that.
Right.
So, yeah, I'll have the games on.
All right. So, we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that. Liberty Flame, everybody. Remember that. I'm calling it now. 12/5 Mississippi State. Little Liberty.
Okay? Liberty Flame. Remember the name.
The Flames. Remember the name. We're going to take a quick short break. I told you, I may have to, in the middle of the segment, we'll mix it up, make it real nice.
No, right, it's fine. It's fine because I can edit it, so it's cool. Okay, so I got through that segment. Okay.
All right, welcome back to the Sports Drink Club with Duke. Just wrap up the first segment, man. So this is what I love about college basketball, man. It's that you get the little guys, you get the David versus Goliath matchups, and let's just be 100% honest. A lot of these teams that are in, they've got players who are 4-year guys okay, seniors, not to say that the big teams don't, because they do, but more of the bigger teams like your Kansases, your Tennessees, your Dukes, your
Kentucky,
your Kentuckys, your UNCs. They have a lot of high profile guys who are most likely going to be there 1 or 2 years and then go to the NBA. You get a few 4-year guys that stick around for a long time, but it's very rare in those bigger programs because obviously, those guys are good enough to play, in the NBA. But I think this is the great thing about college basketball and this tournament is that you get to see the little guys. You get to see the guys that, they went there to play basketball and get it, and go to school.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They just happen to be good enough to play at, a division, at a Division I level. And all Division I teams were not created equal.
No, not at all.
Yeah. But this is an opportunity for, these guys to showcase that this is why they won their conference and this is why they're here. My question is you, Keenan, the biggest, upset that, could happen. Okay. Why do you think that is? Do you believe that it's because they're all amped up because of this one game? If you're going, like for instance, if you're a Frawley Dickinson University, okay, number 16 seed going up against Gonzaga, and we're both teammates, okay, and we're both playing for Frawley Dickinson. This is our last year together. We're senior. We make it to the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
This may be the only time that this may be the last time that we're together.
Yeah.
How do you get your team? How do you get? If I'm talking to you, how do we get pumped up about knowing that we could potentially get crushed?
Well, I mean, I think
likely we're going to get crushed.
I mean, I think that's the thing that plays into it. I feel like whenever you're in that position, you just go into the game with this free for all like attitude of like, who gives a crap? No one's expecting us to win in the first place. If we lose, this is our last game, so might as well go out, try and win, have a good time, like, and if any, like, I think that plays into like the motivation for teams like that, because you got to think everyone, when people doubt you, I feel like that's kind of that extra motivation of like,
Absolutely.
I'm gonna prove you wrong. So knowing that literally millions, probably billions of people fill out these brackets, and to know that for the most part, nobody's has picked you to win this game, and to know that people have put money on these brackets and all that stuff. So like,
Absolutely.
let's go out and screw up everybody's bracket. Let's go out there and win this game so we can literally hear how upset everybody is that we just beat this number 2, number 3 seed or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, who cares? Like, let's just go out and do the damn thing.
Right.
I feel like that plays like a big hand. And then on top of that, what also lends on the flip side is those high seed teams that could kind of clinch up in a moment like that, especially if the game's close. Exactly. You know what I mean? Like if it's down to the, in the late in the second half and the game's close, those top seeded teams might get a little nervous, like, oh snap, we're not supposed to lose this game, but here we are, we might lose. So, and then at this, last minute they end up losing. And so it's like, oh, because of that pressure of not expecting to lose and not supposed to lose to a team like that, they end up losing. You know what I mean? Because they let the pressure get to them. While this other team was just like, you know what? Why not?
We're going to get crushed anyway, so we might as well go out there and try to score more points than the other team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's the only thing that I can reasonably think of as to why these upsets happen. It's just some people just crash underneath the spotlight.
Well, my question is do you give the 16th seed who's playing Duke?
No. I'm a
That's what I'm saying.
We don't need to go any further.
Go up against Zion Williamson.
No. I mean, especially after you told me how big he is. No.
If you're a coach for North Carolina Central or North Dakota State, how do you get your team amped up? Like, all right, we're going out there to go play the number 1 team in the tournament. I know that they've got 3 first-round draft picks, guys, but hey, we're going to try to go out there and we're going to beat them. There's some things that we could do to frustrate them, and we're going to stay in this game. Bro, I do not expect.
I wouldn't even do that. I honestly don't even know as a coach of a team like that going against Duke, even going up against North Carolina, how you could possibly motivate your team. Literally, if I was a coach of that team, I'd take everybody out to IHOP eat as many pancakes. I don't know. I just be like, eat as many. Come on, they on a budget, dog. They ain't Duke. They on a budget. They eating that. They eating that Golden Corral. I'm telling you. They eating that GC. I'm just saying. I'm taking them. Be like, eat as many pancakes as y'all want. Have fun. We here. Go have fun. That's all I can say.
My boy Keenan's just out here just being disrespectful to these folks. He's sitting here trying to compare these guys like this is Tyler Junior College or like this is Saddleback Community College or something like that. Come on, man.
I'm just saying I would just let them have a nice, almost like
at least become nicer. You said IHOP.
What other pancake places there?
I mean, you right, but like, come on, man. They deserve better than IHOP.
What's wrong with IHOP? Who doesn't like IHOP?
Wrong with I'm just saying, like
you can't have a classy pancake. It's a pancake.
You say, all right, guys, we're gonna take it to the classiest joint out here. Going to IHOP.
Where else are you gonna go in the morning before a game?
Okay, well.
I'm just saying. I'm trying to give them like it's like they're about to get the death sentence. You know what I mean? Death sentence, last meal. Have at it. Well, I'm glad you made it this far. Congratulations! It's been a great season. Let's have one last.
Like you're going to death row. Like, would you like your last meal, sir, before your season comes to an end?
Yeah. Can I get 3 stacked pancakes? Do y'all have any raspberry syrup?
I mean,
can I have some chocolate milk? I don't know. Whatever their fancy is.
Like, are you honest as a coach? Like, I know that we don't have much of a chance to win. Do you even try to motivate your team to? I mean, I know that the objective of any competitive sport that you play is to win, but they are so severely overmatched that all the motivational speeches,
that's the thing. Like, why even try to do that when it's like one of those things where, like, okay, so me and you both been athletes at a point in time, and both of us at a certain point in time have come up against teams that were probably better than us, and we knew it or whatever. And to hear a coach come out in a locker room and try and give this motivational speech on how it's forced, and it's all. He's just doing it because he, quote, has to as a coach. Like, he can't come out there and be like, they're better than us, but go have fun. Like, he's got to say something motivational to try and spark us to let's give it our all. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so even as a player, even as a player, they have to know that their coach is kind of bullshitting them, and just giving this speech because he has to as the coach.
As a player, know that they know.
So that exactly
score more points than a whole team.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is, what would actually kind of be more conducive and like actually, as a player, I feel like it would put me in a more relaxed state than kind of having this speech forced upon me. Whereas I would, if my coach if I was on the lesser team and the coach was like, hey, we're just going to have a bomb-ass breakfast and have a good morning before our game, I'd be like, okay, cool. And I would probably be really relaxed and like, had a cool breakfast. We're here in this tournament spotlight. Let's just go have fun. And then now maybe we have a chance to upset the team instead of like, oh, yeah, now I'm really thinking about this game. And, coach gave us this speech and maybe let's try and live up to it. No.
It was just funny because, they were doing the selection Sunday. And of course, they always pan to the locker rooms or to the teams who get announced. And everybody's like, yeah, like getting pumped up. So these 16 seeds, I was just really curious to know how they acted. And I saw Prairie View when they got in. Prairie View was like, yeah, all right, who does Prairie View get to play? Okay, Prairie View gets to play the winner. The winner of their playing game gets to play Gonzaga. And so they're like, yeah. I specifically remember NC Central, okay, and North Dakota State because they panned to them and they were both pumped up. Yeah.
Yeah.
But when they saw who they got seated up against,
they're like,
it was like, yeah. And they're going up against number 1 Duke. Oh, and in their mind that they were like, this is it. This is the end of our season. I know that people are like, oh, well, University, UMBC won last year, so there's hope. There is no hope playing against the #1 draft pick in the NBA in the first round. There's no hope.
The biggest freak possibly ever to come to college basketball.
Exactly. How do you, as a coach, do you even like? Why are y'all even game planning?
That's what I mean. So, like I said,
going through the motions.
Like I said, last meal.
IHOP.
Pancakes. After the game, took us back in the house, served us pancakes. Pancakes. Good game. Bitches.
Would you like some grapes? Bitches.
That was a good game, Duke. Wish I could say the same for you.
Exactly. It's going to be a rout. Just like how Prince and the Blouses
routed Charlie Murphy.
And
his squad.
So
anyway, yeah.
No shot whatsoever. I 100% have to agree with you, man. Like if I'm NC Central or North Dakota State and I get an opportunity to get play against Duke, what I will say is like, well,
just go out there and try and have fun.
Exactly. At least we won one tournament game.
Yeah.
To play Duke.
Yeah. You kind of have to just know that that's what you're gonna hang your hat on. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, no one's gonna be like, oh, they suck. You know what I mean? Like, it's just y'all played against Duke. Who like literally we have them winning. Who is gonna beat Duke? We don't have anybody doing it. So if they can't do it, like we're not expecting anyone to do it. So no one's gonna look down upon them for losing to Duke.
Exactly. So don't be too upset, 16 seeds. It's fun. You worked hard all year to win your conference. You're in the dance. You'll be on TV, and you will be making.
You have to know that at least everyone is going to be watching you. So
absolutely, everyone definitely is going to be watching that game. So if you're a senior who's majoring in economics and you're graduating this year, you're definitely going to be on TV, and it's going to be the last time that your team.
Yeah, if you're majoring in economics or engineering, you play your heart out because
that's who they're going up against. They're going against people who are majoring in economics, engineering.
But what I'm saying is like, think about it from that perspective. You're majoring in economics or engineering, you ball out against Duke. I'm putting that on my resume, dog.
Played in the first round against Zion Williamson. Against Duke.
So put up 30. Put up a 30 spot against Duke.
Fighting Zion.
And they're going to be like, oh, I remember that. You're hired.
Hey, man. These guys, it's great to see, man. Most of these kids are not going to play professional sports. So it's just a good opportunity to see these kids go out there for the last time or for the first time and, play for what everybody's been working hard for all year, and that's to get into the NCAA tournament.
Yep.
Johnny Manziel back in the news again. I feel like we've already talked about him, but it was more so we were speaking of him about his exit of the Canadian Football League. No one ever found out really what actually happened and why he ended up departing from the Montreal Alouettes, but he has wiggled his way back in to American football, this time with the AAF signing a player's contract with the Memphis Express.
The worst team in the AAF.
Exactly. First question really is, Keenan, what do you think about the signing? What do you think about Johnny Manziel getting back into American football? And is this good for the AAF?
Unfortunately, I feel like it is good for the AAF just because it's Johnny Manziel. It's such a household name to where people are going to be watching to see can Johnny Manziel still play football. So in that aspect, it is good for the AAF because it's just going to bring more eyeballs to that league, which to be honest, I've watched those games and they're really entertaining. Like I'm like, not trying to they're entertaining games. Like they've gotten better every single week.
Sure.
And I'm really hoping that the league stays around because I think it's a nice just a sub league for the NFL. Like the games are really enjoyable to watch. Like I've been watching them every single week, and it's good football. It's entertaining football. But I do think adding him to the league is just good, just because it's Johnny Manziel. He's just an enigma that everyone wants to see if he'll succeed or if he's going to fall again. So
Exactly.
in that aspect, I think it's good for them. I wish he didn't get another chance because I mean, I'm being honest, it's because I feel like he's messed up so many times. And for someone like that to just get an opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, and for him to waste them away, and yet people are still willing to give him opportunities, it's just kind of frustrating because I'm sure I'm not the only one who's thinking this, that like if he were anyone else, you know, his career would be done. No
Exactly.
one would be wanting to give him another shot, but for whatever reason, he's captured people's hearts, and I don't know how. And people just want to help him out, and I
Well, it's
don't get
Johnny
it.
Manziel, man. It's Money Manziel. You know, he had the short-lived career that was in the NFL. He had the short-lived career that was in the CFL. You know, in between his fall from grace out of the NFL and making his way back into the CFL, he ran into some troubles. You know, did the whole rehab thing, had the issue with his girlfriend, had the issue with the partying, end up selling his house in Cleveland, kind of removing himself from everybody. Then he had the whole motivation with the comeback season thing. Ended up going up to Canada with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, where essentially, you know, he was beat out by Levi Masoli, and ended up getting traded over to the Montreal Alouettes. I think I was probably the only person of a lot of my friends who actually followed Johnny Manziel in the CFL, and that was partially to, you know, kind of piggyback off of what you were saying, was the eyeballs aspect. I just want to see what the heck's going to happen with Johnny Manziel. He was just so electrifying in college football to where it didn't matter what place Texas A&M was in. It didn't even matter if they were in contention to win a national championship. The fact that he made such entertaining plays, and they created this household name for Johnny Football. How, like, out of all the nicknames that the media has created, that's kind of one of the ones that is always going to forever stay with me. For the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Johnny Football just kind of rolls off the tongue like that. But his fall from grace and having an opportunity to play in the AAF right now, it's good for him. It keeps him out of trouble. I'm kind of in the same space of where you are, but I'm going to take it a step further. I don't think that it's an issue for me that he's getting back into the AAF. I think what's going to be an issue to me if he actually plays well in the AAF and gets an opportunity to play in the NFL.
Yeah, that'll be frustrating.
That frustration is going to lie with me, because then anybody who's ever had any sort of, I'm just going to throw it out there. If you had any sort of doubt about the blackballing and about Colin Kaepernick, and if the settlement didn't push you over, Johnny Manziel getting back into the league should push you over.
Yeah.
Because the weird part about it is that I know in my mind there are two coaches right now who are watching to see what Johnny Manziel does. I'm going to say Cliff Kingsbury with the Arizona Cardinals, because you know that he likes quarterbacks like this who understand his concepts and what he likes to do, being in shotgun and being mobile and running around and RPOs and all that types of stuff. And another person who has been his biggest fan is John Gruden. So I won't be surprised if either of those two coaches in the next 6 months, especially if he does well, mention his name or somebody gets asked about him. You know what I'm saying?
I could definitely. I don't see the Cardinals, especially with everyone and even you saying that they're going after Kyler Murray. Because if they're going after Kyler Murray, why in the hell would you want the headache of Johnny Manziel? I don't care how well he plays in the AAF. But the team, then the person that you mentioned that I could very well actually see them doing something is John Gruden and the Raiders, because all John Gruden right now seems to be worried about is making a splash.
Exactly.
And that's going to make a splash.
Well, he has had a stiff for Johnny Manziel for a real long time. And you can go back into YouTube and look at, when he used to do them Gruden grinding quarterback camps and he'd take all the draft picks.
But he says he loves everybody in those things.
Johnny Manziel. Like, that's his guy. Okay. He loves the whole story behind Johnny Manziel, the chip on his shoulder.
But what kind of chip does Johnny Manziel have on his shoulder?
And that's the thing, is
he's
that
a rich kid who got everything handed to him, basically, and he played really well. Like, he's so privileged. Like, what chip could he possibly have? The fact that he's privileged, is that a chip that people have?
Well, and that kind of leads into our second thing here is how he's getting another opportunity, and no one's really asking any questions what happened in Canada. Okay. Yeah. They air all out his laundry in the NFL, and they aired all of his laundry got aired out TMZ and all that stuff, but they kept it hush in Canada. I don't know exactly what he did to violate his contract to where he literally is banned from the CFL and banned. Don't quote me on this, but I believe he may be banned from Canada.
Seriously?
I don't know what this man did.
Well, bro. if they banned him but yet didn't air out his dirty laundry, that's just because Canadians are super polite.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then that's fine. But let's get into this just a little bit. Okay. Johnny Manziel, son of an oil tycoon type cat, knew some people who graduated later on, who went to A&M, who actually went to school during his time, said that he had super nice car, Mercedes, stuff like that, was a real jerk. Okay. Was what a lot of people said about Johnny Manziel. How does he get himself back into this? Okay. Considering that there are athletes out there who don't have a criminal record, who just flat out can't play. I don't know how this guy keeps getting a job. I mean,
well, because to me, it goes kind of back towards these arguments and debates as we've kind of had just around football and quarterbacks in general. He's a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
That's why. If he was a defensive end or a cornerback, no one would care, and he'd be done with. But because he's a quarterback, everyone thinks so highly. And everyone thinks so highly of quarterbacks, and they're the most important unicorns. That's why he's getting a chance. You know what I mean? Like, it's the fact that he's a quarterback. That's why. And he was so electrifying at one point, like you said, that everyone wants to see if he can recapture that lightning in a bottle that he had.
Exactly.
Once upon a time. And they're willing to put up with anything and everything and look past all his indiscretions and everything that he's done wrong and give him another chance to see, can we have Johnny football back on the field again?
Right.
You know what I mean? And as unfair as it is, that's just the case, and everything that it plays into it as well, where his family, I'm sure, is able to, fund whatever they need to do in order to make these sort of opportunities kind of arise again, be able to like put them back into like training and training facilities and possibly get him in front of whoever he needs to get in front of in order to, possibly make a comeback. Whereas other families and other players like that, there'd just be no way.
Right.
And no one would be willing to.
And I heard a lot of analysts come out and say that they think that this is a bad idea for the AAF. You're just enabling someone who doesn't want to learn, who doesn't learn from their mistakes, who truly isn't remorseful.
I mean, it is, but I can't necessarily blame the AAF either, because it's their first year and they're trying to survive. They're trying to sustain their league, and the best way to do that is to get eyeballs on your league. And so there's no bigger way to get eyeballs on your league right now than to get Johnny Manziel to come.
Exactly.
It was at the beginning of the league, everyone was talking about, is Johnny Manziel or Colin Kaepernick going to play in the AAF? So you got one of the two.
Exactly.
So I can't really fault the AAF per se. Like, obviously you would hope that they would have a little bit more integrity than that, but that's just seems to be the way life goes.
At this moment in time, I think that this is what the AAF needs. They do need a household name to where they can market themselves off of. I believe that's all that it is. To be honest with you, his play really hasn't improved much to me. There was some improvement this year in the Canadian Football League after his debut was a 4 interception to no touch. Like he had 0 touchdowns through 4 interceptions, and they lost terribly. And he also got hurt.
Jesus.
The thing is that, he improved in a league, and I understand that the game's different. There's an extra defender. The field is wider. Wide receivers can move before the snap. I get all of that, but the basis of it all is still pretty much the same. You have to be able to throw the football. You have to be able to hit targets, and you have to be able to move the chains. And he did a lot of that this year, just based off of my own personal assessment. But to the likings of an NFL scout, or to the likings of somebody who could be potentially looking at him to join their team in the NFL, I don't think that it's ever going to happen. And even if he does do well this year in the AAF, I just feel like there's a lot of GMs out there who will talk coaches that may be interested in him. To be honest with you, he's kind of ruined his reputation in the league. He's going to have to show significant change in order to get in it, but I just don't think that he has the talent. I'm just going to be 100% honest with you. I think that he's good. He's better than the average player coming out of college, but he's not better than the average player going into the NFL, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
no.
I think, there's a lot about him to like. There's some intangibles of him where he's able to make these backyard football type plays, but just all in all, the way that he plays and the style that he likes to play, he likes to move around, he likes to get outside of the pocket. His arms strength is really not all that great. His speed it's
had to diminished.
It's kind of diminished in a sense, and just he doesn't look very big. I saw him in the AAF. He got broke up a few times. He was hurt several times this year, and it was based off of him running. You do that in the NFL. I mean, if they're catching you and blowing you up in the CFL, they're going to catch you and blow you up in the AAF, and they're definitely going to catch you and blow you up in the NFL. So, just all in all, I don't really see him getting back in the NFL. But I will have a bone to pick, and I will have an issue, and we will be back on this podcast talking about Johnny Manziel again. I don't care if he gets into the NFL just off of one season or whatever. It gets an invite. I'm 100%. 1,000% convinced blackballing was going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
With the whole Colin Kaepernick, there's just
there's just no way around it. But I mean, to just finish off the whole Johnny Manziel topic, I will be upset if he gets another shot at the NFL and if he manages to make it onto a roster. But I will say that I wouldn't mind if he, if he manages to somewhat resurrect his career in the form of like he plays well enough to be able to hold it down in the AAF, and he just becomes a staple AAF quarterback. Like I wouldn't care then. Like at that point, cool. Like he's the once has been player that was really good, but just didn't have what it took. But he's still fun to watch in the AAF, and to me, he's kind of like what Trent Richardson is right now in the AAF, where he was very good in college, obviously. Didn't quite live up to expectations in the NFL, but hey, he's a pretty damn good AAF football player, So if Johnny Manziel can basically be the Trent Richardson, fine, whatever. I don't care.
Absolutely. A lot of hype going into this. Not as much hype as the NFL drafter. I don't even know if this is as much hype as him going to Canada, but obviously you say Johnny Manziel, ears perk up, eyeballs open, and we will be coming back to seeing what kind of progress he get. Hey, he starts any of these next 2 weeks, we're definitely going to be talking about Johnny Manziel.
Yep.
He's going to be a topic of discussion in a lot of our podcasts, especially if he's finding some success over there with the Memphis Express. Got a big money day.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's even underselling it.
Mike Trout. $430 million through 2030 extension, $360 million I said 360 million for the next 10 seasons with the Angels.
God.
This is more than Bryce Harper. This is more than Leo Messi. This is more than Steph Curry. This is more than Aaron Rodgers. This is more than 7 franchises that are in the NHL. This is more than majority of the franchises that are in the MLS, if not all of them combined. The dude's getting $430 million extension, and he's got more money than 5 franchises that are running right now and that have TV deals. I'm trying to tell you, that's mad cash. And I told you.
You did. You did.
Multiple episodes. I said, if there's anybody that is going to get $400 million, it's going to be him. And he may be the only one. But first thing is first, he is the highest paid athlete in professional sports, and we do love that. But what does this do to the market, Keenan? Not just for baseball, but for all sports. Do you think everybody's looking at this?
I mean, I don't think any other sport can follow suit besides baseball is in its own tier. You know what I mean? Like in terms of contracts and players making money, like baseball is in another universe, and no other sport seems to even be able to come close to following suit with the amount of money that they're able to pay their players. It's insane to me, like how much money gets spent and has gotten spent this offseason just between Trout, Harper, and Machado. Like those 3 players alone, the contracts that they have is worth over $1 billion.
Absolutely.
Just 3 contracts over $1 billion. Like that's stupid money.
It really is. Considering that the MLB is a $10 billion industry.
Yeah. So the fact that, when Machado got signed, it was like, dang, that's a huge contract. Harper gets signed. Dang, that's a huge contract. Then Mike Trout comes out of the woodworks and just like, hey, y'all thought y'all's contracts was big. Look at mine. You know what I mean? Like that's so.
He got $100 more million than both of them.
Yep. Like I don't even know what to say because it's so mind-boggling. The only thing that I can say right now is NFL they might be actually shaking because Kyler Murray might be rethinking his decision.
Absolutely.
I know I would. If I saw those contracts get signed, why wouldn't you rethink your decision playing baseball? Like, sure, you might not make it. Like, you might not be playing in the MLB right away. But if you can live up to this, which Kyler Murray could potentially, like,
right,
you can make so much more money playing baseball than you ever would playing football. Exactly. And the chances of you getting hurt are so much lower.
Absolutely.
Like why not play baseball?
Well, let me tell you something.
And the A's are all about him, so they would actually probably be very keen on giving him some huge contract if he plays even up to the level remotely close to a Harper or Machado or a Trout. If he even comes close to playing like that, because he's already got the name of Kyler Murray, they would pay him out the ass.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with you in that aspect that Kyler Murray's definitely looking at this and saying, whoa, that's a lot of money. Okay. And I get where he's coming from, that, his passions in football. And we'll definitely get into that at some point. But with Mike Trout, I mean, he's already been worth, 60.8 wins over, above replacement in his career.
Yeah, it's worth pretty high.
The 4th most ever in a player's first 8 seasons, which includes 40 games. Okay. Which includes his 40-game rookie season and this season. The crazy part about it, Mike Trout, is like he is a living day Mickey Mantle, like I had mentioned before. The dude he's got speed, he's got power, he hits for average, he's got a great arm, he's got intuitive instincts, and he just is fun to watch.
Yeah.
Now
he's a pure baseball player.
He's a pure baseball player. And we thought at one point a couple weeks ago that there could have been some potential that he could end up with the Philadelphia Phillies. Obviously Bryce Harper came out and he made his statement very loud and clear that he is waiting until 2020 because guess who is going to be on the market? You're trying to tell me that the Angels weren't hearing that right there and said, no.
They heard that. They want
right now.
Real quick. They were like, listen, we can't have him go anywhere, because everyone already been kind of giving the Angels, a whole bunch of mess, because everyone's almost kind of starting to hate on them. Like, you've had probably one of the greatest players of all time on your team, and y'all have done nothing with him. Y'all haven't surrounded him with the players that he needs in order to win, which again kind of goes back to just my overall. Last episode we're talking about Tom Brady and him being the GOAT, and my problem with that. Here we are talking about the greatest player that everyone can agree on being the greatest player probably of all time in baseball. Has he won any championships? No. So clearly in a team sport, you need other people around you, and they have yet to surround him with the players necessary in order to even get him in the playoffs. I think he's been to the playoffs one time, maybe twice.
He's been to the playoffs. He's only played 3 playoff games his whole entire time.
That's terrible. Absolutely, that's a shame. That's a crime.
But you can't put that all on Mike Trout, no?
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, and now I'm flipping back between just like the GOAT argument. You need players around him, and people are mad at the Angels for not doing that. Right. You have the greatest player, and you're not surrounding him with players necessary in order to really get him in the spotlight that a player like that deserves to be in. You're not marketing him correctly. MLB is not marketing him correctly. The Angels aren't marketing him correctly.
Absolutely not.
It's just a shame that he's been stuck on this team that's just been like this middling team. Now, obviously, they made this deal because they can't possibly let the greatest player possibly of all time go.
They did not want to be the team to let go Mike Trout.
Exactly. And then him go to another team, and then they win the World Series. You know what I mean? They couldn't have that. So now their sole purpose from this day forward has to be, who can we get on our team so that we can win a World Series, so that Mike Trout can win a World Series. That has to be their sole goal, moving forward. They have to make it happen. Once Albert Pujols' contract is done and out the way, they have to make moves like now, because Mike Trout is kind of starting to get out of the phase, the range of he's leaving his prime. Not to say that he is anytime soon, but it's teetering in that direction.
Exactly. And 100% is. And for somebody, whose wins over replacement are better than, and I'm talking about in his career, this short career, okay, he's already have eclipsed Mickey Mantle and Ty Cobb with wins over replacement. For anybody who doesn't know that stat, we don't really have a lot of time to get into the analytics of baseball, but basically when he's on the field, their percentage of
winning is so much higher.
Their percentage of winning is so much higher, and it's not just from his bat. He's able to win games with his glove. Yep. He's able to win games with his arm. He's able to win games just being in the lineup, because you have to pitch, or you have to pitch to him and pitch a certain way around him, especially if you've got guys on base, especially if it's a tight ball game. There's all types of situations that they may put in where you're constantly thinking about Mike Trout. One thing I want to point out is that the Angels organization, was this a flex on Bryce Harper and kind of putting that to bed early? Because that's how I feel about it. I know that the Angels always wanted to sign him long term, but after Bryce Harper just getting on the airways and actively recruiting Mike Trout 2 years for basically 2 years from now, we want to get you over here. Yeah. Is that a flex job on the Angels? Did the Angels just flex on everybody? Was like, sorry, he's not available. $430 million right now. Case closed. We don't want to go to any, we don't want to have any questions going into the season.
Yeah.
Flex on everybody. $430 million. What's up?
I mean, it might have been a flex.
Who can do better?
Yeah. It very well could have been a flex of, no one can even come close to matching this. No one's going to want to, because it's so big. And then on top of that, it's a flex of, oh, so you're gonna try and recruit our best player? Not happening. Shutting that down real quick. Oh, you thought you were the highest paid player in the MLB? Nope. Guess again. No, you're not the best player. This guy is.
On everybody. And that's the crazy part about it, is that Bryce Harper was looking for a deal like this. Manny Machado was looking for a deal like this.
They weren't looking for a deal like this.
Scott Boras was trying to get $400 million for Bryce Harper. I'm 100% sure he wanted to get a $400 million contract for Bryce. That's why he turned down the $300 million job that he got with, the Nationals, and then end up getting this contract. And Mike Trout still flexed on. He got $100 million more than he did. Okay, so there is a difference. And don't get me wrong, I love Bryce Harper.
I love Bryce Harper too.
He is that guy.
I love Bryce Harper,
but he is no Mike Trout, not even close.
No.
And $430 million going into Mike Trout's bank account. Okay, over the next 12 seasons.
Yeah,
bro.
Listen to this. Listen to this real quick. So a breakdown of Mike Trout's new $430 million deal. That amounts to about $660,000 per at bat, $25,000 per inning, $3 million per month, $4,000 per hour, $70 per minute.
Can I get $70? Can I get $70 an hour, please?
He's making $70 per minute. Mind you, that's for the whole year. He doesn't play baseball all year.
Oh my God. Just ridiculous money.
So at times when he's just in the off season, chilling on vacation, he's making $70 per minute.
So he's sleeping and he's
making $70 per minute.
Also, Mike Trout's reported $430 million extension is more than combined career PGA Tour earnings of Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, Vijay Singh, Jim Furyk, and Dustin Johnson. And they're all on the top 5 on the money list.
So
just think about that, bro.
So now we're talking about this. Now this brings up a question that I feel like everyone's kind of been asking about baseball and its popularity and how it seems to be going down, and why don't we have as many youth entering the game of baseball? Seeing these types of contracts, how as a parent would you not want to put your kid in baseball?
Exactly.
Just if they show any sort of potential at being good at baseball, you see this, and your kid's like, oh, do I want to put him in football or baseball? Well, do I want to put him in a sport where he's most likely to get head damage, brain damage? If he even makes it to the league, maybe 2-3 years. He's definitely not going to get paid this kind of money. Or do I want to put him in a league where less injuries, while it might take a little bit longer to get to the league, if you make it, you're going to make more money. And if you're really good, you're going to make a lot of money. Just imagine, just imagine like a 9-year-old kid right now. By the time he gets to the league, this type of money right here, these types of contracts are going to be peanuts compared to what the contracts are going to be by time, 20 years from now.
I know.
15 years from now.
The answer that I think that there's an instant gratification sort of generation that we live in. Obviously, touch of a finger, we can find out how much is on our bank account. Touch of a finger,
but at a certain point, do people put aside this instant gratification? Like Kyler Murray, do you put aside that instant gratification to sit there and say, do I want 4 quarters now, or do I want a $5 bill in about 10 minutes?
Right.
You know what I mean?
And you keep picking on my boy Kyler, man.
Well, because he's the most notable person. You know what I mean?
That was not instant gratification. That was his passion.
Passion / instant gratification.
Ah, leave him alone, man.
Saying. I mean, and maybe I'm biased. Maybe I'm biased because I love baseball that much. But come on, man.
Absolutely. I totally get exactly where you're coming from. Like I said, we live in a world where a touch of a button, can get us, the news, the weather, the stocks, sending money to somebody, anything that we want. And we're talking about sports that hold people's attention. Okay. Demographic to watching baseball right now is somewhere between the ages of 38 and 55. Okay. And it's, Caucasian males that are majority of that are watching baseball. Now, I'm not saying that there's not other demographics that may be interested, but just based off of what I've experienced and kind of what I've seen, and then what we have seen within the post our baseball careers. Okay. Football is way more marketable at this moment in time. Basketball is way more marketable at this moment in time. We don't have a lot of stars that are walking the street, and we're looking at a star right now who got paid $430 million through 2030. But the thing is that he doesn't want to be that sort of guy to promote the game again. Bryce Harper's got the idea already in his head, and he's definitely taking the torch in that sense. But Mike Trout has already kind of come out and said, that's not his responsibility.
That's not his personality.
He wants to come out. He wants to go out there and play baseball. But for the kids out there, I see more for the youth, them being interested in watching LeBron James or watching somebody like, Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady or something like that.
Me,
because most of these kids are in Little League, and they're out there in the outfield picking flowers or looking at
the to me, there's a difference between watching and participating.
Right.
You know what I mean? For sure, the NBA can be the second most popular sport in America behind football. But how many kids are actually likely to make it to the NBA? Because first of all, you have to be tall enough in order to even make it. So that cuts off an extreme amount of youth kids already. Like, you can love basketball all you want, but if you ain't tall enough, chances are you're not making it to the league.
Right.
So, so there's a sport that's very selective as is, and there's even less players to make a roster.
Right.
So there's that. Football, yes, very popular, but the your ability to maintain and sustain yourself within the actual league is so minuscule. Most people don't pan out. That's the not for long league. Like, they don't call it that for nothing. You know what I mean? So you got two sports that are, while yes, very entertaining, what's the likelihood of you literally making it professionally and maintaining yourself professionally? Especially when those are two sports where, at least basketball, if you're not good enough, you could potentially go to a European league or something like that and play. Football, you're really screwed because it's just America. That's why the AAF is so important right now, at least in my eyes, because it at least provides an outlet for players that aren't good enough for the NFL.
What about baseball and people getting stuck in these minor league systems for a really long time?
Yeah, that happens, but at the same time, you could also go. I don't know exactly what the stipulations are for other leagues like the Japanese league or the Korean league. And yes, it's not as good as the MLB, and who knows if the Korean league's even as good as playing in the minor leagues, but that happens. But there are still other outlets that you could potentially pursue outside of getting stuck in the minor league system. Absolutely. Which it does happen, and that happens to a lot of players,
right?
A lot of very good players. They just never get that opportunity. Like the person who was stuck behind.
Speaking for the youth, maybe that's where the drawback is that it's a slower sport. It's more of it's more of a mental game than it is an actual physical game, even though there is physical and athletic prowess that takes place within the game. Maybe that's where it is for people, is that it's slow. And that's kind of the common consensus. If we took 10 kids out of a classroom, say, oh, what do you like about baseball? What do you like about, what don't you like about baseball? I'm sure that there's a lot of kids who are going to say, oh, well, it's slow. And
so
that's
then,
kind of where it is, I feel like, for youth, is that they're missing that aspect of it because they're not getting enough information about it, or possibly not participating. I don't know. I'm not sure.
So then I guess my question is, if that seems to be the mindset, at least here in America, is there a way to possibly shift the league to, an area that's more respectful and loving of the game of baseball. I mean, I'm just thinking of those Latin American countries like the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, places like those that baseball is their life. Like
Right.
the game's not slow to them. They love baseball.
Right.
You know? Like so is there potential to take the league to a place like that where it can be appreciated and no one's gonna be like, oh, the game's too slow, blah blah blah. Cause I'm just thinking in terms of, you know, there are sports that aren't popular here in America, but are very popular in their own country or in different countries. Like we
Right.
both like cricket. India loves cricket. Like
Right.
Pakistan loves cricket. Like it's not very popular anywhere like in America because it could be too slow. But if you take it to a market that is appreciative of that sport, could it survive then? Maybe I don't know.
The thing is that, if you take it to a completely different country or something like that, just thinking about it, you run the risk of, not making as much money as you would be here in the States.
Yeah.
My biggest thing is I think that there's plenty of people who love baseball. Okay. But those majority of people are either our age or up, and anybody who's younger, literally, I can't say everybody, but likes baseball because they either participated in it or it was, taught to them. You know what I mean? We watch the baseball games with their
Is there
dad.
enough people teaching?
Ball. What's up?
Is there enough people kind of introducing young people to the game of baseball?
And that's what I'm saying is that what we see on TV and what we see on Instagram and what we see the highlights of, or, ESPN or whatever it may be, your big market guys is like football, basketball, basketball. I mean, I feel like even soccer at some points, especially within the last 5 years, has caught more popularity in the States than baseball. And I'm just being 100% honest with you.
Yeah.
And I have an issue with that because there's a lot to love about the game. There's a lot to like about baseball. I can understand where people could get frustrated about the speed of the game because, hell, we played numerous times, and trust me, dude, I'm sure there were some times that we were spinning out in the outfield looking at each other like, damn, is a ball ever going to come out here? Like,
yeah, or just
it's boring.
The pitching changes. The pitching changes,
Exactly. And think about if you're not a highly drafted player, okay, where you're going through the farm system just like in a blink of an eye, you'll be up playing in no time. But for all those other guys who are mid-rounders and lower, I mean, talk about somebody. Exactly. It is a grind. Talk about somebody who's a mid-rounder coming out of Clemson, where you probably played in games against Saginaw State University with more people than you do at your minor league ballpark right now. Like you can literally hear people crunching peanuts in the stands.
Yeah.
In some of these minor league ballparks. So getting lost in the shuffle, taking buses when you used to take planes, getting first class meals at your university. Now you're eating, whatever the team manager brought you, now you got to pay dues and stuff in the locker room. You're not making much. I mean, these guys are making, $2,500, $2,500 a month, maybe $3,000 a month. And I'm not talking about the guys who got signed first round. I'm talking about the guys who got picked up in the 40th round. You ain't making no money, bro. So I could see where a lot of people could get frustrated as a player. I could see where people are frustrated as a fan. I could see why the youth is not engaged to how not engaged in baseball like how it used to be in our parents' day, even before that. Okay. Hell, even in the 80s, in the early 90s, baseball was popping. I don't know where the decline happened, and I can accredit it to the NFL popularity, the NBA popularity, just the way that we're, how we look at sports today and how we're engaged in sports and social media. I really do feel like that plays a huge factor because if Mike Trout was walking down the street, okay, yeah, me and you might know who Mike Trout is, but the common person doesn't know who Mike Trout is. They're more likely LeBron James. You know who that face is. Hell, pick somebody mid-tier that's in the NFL that you may know who their face is. They probably know their face. You know what I mean? So baseball needs to do a better job and it is their responsibility to push the athletes and the stars that they've got at the forefront to make them as popular as a LeBron James, as a Aaron Rodgers or Peyton Manning or whatever it may be. They make $10 billion. They're worth $10 billion. So where's this money going to market your sport?
Yep.
If the players aren't going to be able to do it and that's not enough firepower, then the league needs to get behind it and start pushing this stuff out, because there are a lot of stars in the MLB, but no one recognizes them because the MLB is not making the initiative to make it popular again.
Yeah, they need to figure it out, because, like I said, everything's there for them. They're just not doing a good job on capitalizing on it.
Absolutely.
They're failing themselves.
And my thing is, if you're trying to capture the youth, you've got 2 stars, okay, young guys, Mike Trout, Bryce Harper, Manny Machado. I mean, there's a lot of stars in this league that you could. Nolan Arenado, Chris Bryant. I mean, young guys. Not talking about the old heads, man.
Javier Baez is entertaining as hell.
Exactly. Aaron Judge, Javier Baez,
Stanton. Like, come on.
MLB, like, where you at?
And on top of that, they're like good looking guys too. Like, come on. Like, what are you doing? Come on.
You know, like the days of just it being popular,
they're gone.
It's gone. I mean, at one point, everyone was intrigued back in the late 90s, early 2000s with the whole home run race.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody hit 60 home runs now, nobody even cares. You know what I mean? Like, maybe it has a little bit to do with the steroid thing. Maybe it has a little bit to do with that, in the uprise of the NFL and the NBA. But at one point, it was like live tune-in. Sammy Sosa is about to, come up the bat and get his 57th home run. Now, it was a covenant number of 61 because that was the mark and it wasn't broken for so long. I get that.
Yeah.
But to not even be celebrated anymore, to hitting 50 home runs, like, it's just not even a big deal anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I think the one thing that's gone in MLB's favor is that just over kind of the past decade or so, how the playoffs have kind of gone has kind of recaptured, has at least kept people's attention.
Exactly.
You had the Red Sox, who hadn't won in over like 100 years, and then they won their first one. And
you're talking about the Cubs? The Cubs?
No, I'm talking about the Red Sox.
Oh, the Red Sox.
When they won, so that so that happened, and then you had the Cubs come along, and that World Series was one of the greatest World Series of all times against the Indians, and that home run that Rajai Davis hit, that game was so lit. Like, people who weren't even baseball fans loved that World Series.
Absolutely.
And then you had the Astros and the Dodgers, so luckily they've had good playoffs within the past decade. That's really kind of at least kept the attention, of America. But if things kind of start to teeter off here, it might get ugly.
Yeah, and with the Angels signing a $3 billion TV contract, okay, which a lot of people didn't know about, by the way. Brad Ausmus is taking over for Mike Scioscia this year. Pretty good-looking guy. They should be, interesting. And, I'm not giving a prediction on what they're going to do this year, but I think that Mike Trout made the right decision, by staying. Mike Trout is one of the last loyal athletes that are out there who's just, not ring chasing, not, looking to build super teams and stuff like that. And with Bryce Harper, his plan failed, okay, because he's over here trying to build a damn super team, okay, and Angels shut that down, paying him $430 million. But it's up to these 2 guys with a few other ones that, we haven't seen yet and that are already existing in the league to really promote the game and show that baseball is fun. Baseball is fun to watch. I know that we have a 162 game season, 163 game season sometimes, but at the end of the day, the latter half is when a lot of people watch. Opening day, there's a lull in the middle, and then at the end, seems like everyone's interested again. But that shouldn't be the case. And there's a lot of money that needs to be poured into their marketing group. That's why I believe, we talked about this in another episode, that the MLB took a L not being able to capture Kyler Murray, because the demographic that you're bringing, having someone like a Kyler Murray, okay, crossing over, playing. A lot of people knew that he played baseball, but I don't think a lot of people knew that he was that good, okay? And the fact that you had an opportunity to get this guy over into your league, grab eyeballs of people who probably just watch college football religiously every Saturday, have no interest in baseball. You're grabbing people who, whoa, where did Kyler Murray go? Oh, he's playing baseball now. That's what they needed. And he's a young brother. And that's what the sports needs. Somebody who's transcending in that particular, in that way. They thought Tim Tebow, but Tim Tebow too old, okay? You can't
It's not
do
good
that.
enough.
It's up to people like Mike Trout, Bryce Harper, a Kyler Murray type, a Manny Machado, Mookie Betts. Somebody out there has got to promote this sport a lot better, because there's a lot of great moments that happen in baseball that people miss. And I think that they're missing out on that in that aspect. You know what I mean? But this is definitely a topic that I'm sure we're going to touch on a lot this year.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot to cover, man.
Yeah.
I definitely have an opinion about it. Obviously, you have an opinion about it, but Mike Trout, $400 million man. The dude's getting paid more than 5 MLS teams right now. It's true. 5 MLS teams, seven NHL teams. Mike Trout's $430 million is more money than Catfish Hunter, Kevin Bass, Benji Gill, Tim Salmon, and Mike Carp reeled in combination. I thought that was a good one that somebody posted out. They just named all of the fish guys. So
yeah,
he is the biggest fish of them all. Yep. And wrap up, man. March Madness, obviously, everybody knows what's going down. Get your brackets in. If you got multiple brackets, fill out multiple brackets. None of them are going to be perfect, but have fun along the way.
Yep. Duke,
future bet here. Duke is going to make the Final Four and win the championship. I think we both agree on that. At least 2 5 seeds will get upset by a 12 seed this year, in this tournament. And I like Texas Tech to make it back to the Sweet 16. And I will put an extra gallon of sweet tea on that. Okay.
I have them going too. So
okay, all right, good. So we should be in the same boat, man. We should be in the same boat. But we'll definitely have to wrap up this conversation tomorrow, or on Thursday. I look forward to talking to you, man. We're definitely going to get back into Mike Trout, because this $430 million thing is absolutely crazy. Yeah. Also, I want to leave you guys with this. If Mike Trout were a country, he would fall at 182nd in the list of all countries' GDP with his new contract, right below Tonga and right below Micronesia. Mike Trout needs to put a flag emoji next to his name whenever he signs that contract. Keenan Duke. It's been great talking to you tonight, man. Sports Drink Club is out. I'm Patrick Melton. That's Keenan Duke. We will see you back on Thursday. And all right. Drinks up, even though mine's empty.
So is mine.
We're out.
Yeah. I'll let you later, man.
All right.
Yeah.